It started with a dare, the kind of stupid, reckless dare that only makes sense when you're 17 and think you've got life figured out. "Come on, Liam," my best friend Ava grinned, shoving the clipboard into my chest. "You're running the kissing booth this year. You owe me." I didn't know her anything, not really. But Ava was one of those people you couldn't say no to all laughter and chaos and terrible ideas that somehow worked out in the end. And maybe, deep down, I was tired of being the quiet one, the predictable one. So yeah, I said yes. By the time the school festival rolled around, I'd kissed 6 girls, 2 boys, and one very enthusiastic exchange student from France who asked for a souvenir of American culture. The booth had become a sensation. My lips were practically famous by third period. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for him. He showed up late in the afternoon, when the sun dipped low and the carnival lights blinked awake. A soft wind swept through the fairgrounds, carrying the smell of popcorn and cinnamon. I was half asleep on my stool when I saw him walking through the crowd. Tall, dark hair, the kind of jawline that could start a war. His eyes caught mine, deep brown, unreadable, and something inside me stuttered. "Hey," he said, voice low and warm like honey. "Is this where I get a kiss for $1?" I tried to laugh, but my throat went dry. Yeah, that's the deal." He smiled, slow and deliberate. "Good. I've been curious what all the hype's about." The world seemed to fade, the music, the laughter, the squeals from the Ferris wheel. It all fell away as he stepped closer, resting a dollar bill on the counter between us. His fingers brushed mine, and the touch sent a shock straight to my chest. Our eyes met again, and for one dizzying second, I forgot everything, where I was, who I was, even the absurdity of what I was about to do. I leaned forward. He did too. Our lips met, soft, careful at first, then lingering just a little too long. The kind of kiss that's not supposed to mean anything but somehow changes everything. When he pulled back, my heart was racing so fast I thought it might give out. "Wow," he murmured, smiling. "Guess the rumors were true." "About what?" I asked, dazed. "That the guy at the kissing booth knows what he's doing." He winked, turned, and disappeared into the crowd before I could even ask his name. Ava came running up seconds later, breathless and giggling. "Oh my God! You kissed him." "Who?" She blinked, then burst out laughing. "You seriously don't know?" "Liam, that was my brother." "My brother, Ethan." The world tilted. My stomach dropped. Ava's brother? I stared after the direction he'd gone, every nerve in my body on fire. My best friend's brother, the same Ethan she never shut up about, the one who was off at college, the golden boy, the family pride. And I just kissed him. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. His eyes, his voice, the way the kiss lingered in my mind like a secret I wasn't supposed to keep. I told myself it didn't mean anything, it couldn't. But deep down, I knew I was lying. 2 days later, Ethan showed up at school. He leaned against my locker like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Hey, booth boy," he said with a smirk that made my pulse spike. "You free after class?" I tried to act normal. Failed spectacularly. Yeah, I guess. "Why?" He shrugged. "Thought we could grab a coffee, to make sure that kiss wasn't a fluke." I laughed, a nervous, half-choked sound. "Pretty sure it wasn't." His grin widened. "Good. Then let's find out." We sat across from each other in a tiny cafe off Main Street, steam curling from our mugs. He was confident, easy in his skin, everything I wasn't. And yet, he looked at me like I was the only person in the room. "I didn't think you'd be my type," he said finally. "Then why ask me out?" He shrugged, eyes softening. "Because you surprised me, and I like being surprised." I wanted to say something clever, something that didn't sound like my brain had melted, but all I could do was stare. Somewhere between the laughter and the awkward pauses, something real began to take shape, fragile but undeniable. But of course, life never lets you keep something beautiful without a fight. Because later that night, Ava found out, and she wasn't laughing anymore. Ava's voice cracked through the air like a thunderclap. "You kissed my brother and now you're dating him?" Her eyes were wide, betrayed, but beneath all that anger, I could see something else hurt. The kind of hurt that comes from someone you thought you knew. Ava, I didn't know it was him, I said quietly. The kiss, it just happened. And after that, I couldn't stop thinking about him. She folded her arms, shaking her head. You could have told me. You should have told me before sneaking around. I wanted to tell her it wasn't sneaking. That Ethan and I hadn't even figured out what we were yet. That every moment between us was equal parts terrifying and amazing. But the words tangled up in my throat. When Ethan arrived at her house later that night, the silence between the three of us was unbearable. He looked at Ava, then at me. If you want to yell, yell at me, he said, calm but firm. I'm the one who kissed him first. Ava blinked, thrown off. You what? Ethan smiled, that infuriating, steady smile. Yeah, I saw him at the booth and I couldn't help it. I knew I shouldn't, but I did, because he looked happy, and I wanted to be part of that. The confession hung in the air, fragile and raw. Ava's shoulders slumped, the anger draining out of her. She sighed, rubbing her temples. You two are idiots. Both of you. Ethan grinned faintly. Runs in the family. She shot him a glare but didn't say more. Then she turned to me, her voice softer. Just don't hurt him, okay? Either of you. And just like that, she walked inside, leaving us under the dim porch light. Ethan leaned against the railing, the quiet wrapping around us. So, he said after a long pause, still think that kiss didn't mean anything? I laughed under my breath. I think it ruined my life for about 5 minutes there. He nudged my shoulder. Then maybe it's worth it. The wind rustled the trees, carrying the smell of rain and grass. And in that stillness, I realized something. Sometimes love doesn't arrive with fireworks or grand gestures. Sometimes, it shows up wearing a teasing grin at a school festival and leaves you completely undone. Weeks passed. The gossip died down, the booth was packed away, and the world kept spinning. But everything felt different. Ethan would visit on weekends, sometimes just to sit with me on the bleachers behind the football field, where no one really looked twice at two guys sharing fries and bad jokes. We talked about everything: his college classes, my photography, how both of us had spent too much time pretending we were fine when we weren't. He made me laugh, but more than that, he made me see myself not as the quiet kid who always played it safe, but as someone brave enough to choose what he wanted, even when it scared him. One evening, as the sky melted into gold and pink, Ethan pulled out a crumpled photo from his wallet, a picture someone had snapped of us at the festival, right before we kissed. You know, he said softly, that day was the first time in a long time I felt like I could just breathe. I looked at the photo, my goofy grin, his half-smile, the blur of lights behind us. It looked like a memory that refused to fade. I was terrified, I admitted. That kiss, it felt like jumping off a cliff. He smiled. Good thing I was there to catch you. By winter, things had settled. Ava forgave us in her own way. She even joked about having to share her favorite boy with her least favorite brother. Our friends moved on to new drama, new rumors. The world, as always, forgot. But we didn't. On Christmas Eve, Ethan drove back from college and showed up at my door with a grin and a red scarf in his hand. Missed me? He asked. Not really, I teased, pulling him inside. Maybe a little. He leaned down and kissed me slow, familiar, like the first one all over again, but warmer this time, realer. Outside, snow began to fall, coating the streetlights and rooftops in silver. Inside, the world was quiet except for the sound of our laughter. Months later, when the school announced the next festival, Ava asked if I'd help organize it again. Don't worry, she said with a smirk. No kissing booth this year. I smiled. Good. I've retired from public service. Ethan, who'd come to pick me up, slipped an arm around my shoulder. Guess I'm the only customer who got a lifetime membership. Ava rolled her eyes. Gross. Get out of here, lovebirds. And as we walked away, hand in hand, I thought about how something that began as a joke, a dare, a moment of chaos, had somehow turned into the most honest thing I'd ever known. Maybe that's how love works. It finds you when you least expect it, when you're too busy pretending not to care, or hiding behind someone else's laughter. And when it does, it doesn't ask permission. It just stays. The next time Ethan kissed me, it wasn't under the flashing lights of a fair or the glow of a holiday window. It was just us sitting on the hood of his car, looking at the stars. He turned to me and said, "You know, that booth changed my life." I laughed. "Pretty sure it changed mine first." He smiled, brushing his thumb across my cheek. "Then I guess we're even." And for once, I didn't feel the need to look away, to hide, or to apologize for what I felt. Because in that moment under the endless American sky, in the quiet hum of the night, I knew that one kiss didn't ruin my life, started it. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.